My name is Karen Lee Pollock. I'm an immigration attorney at the law firm of Bell, Nunnally and Martin. Today we're going to talk about the E-2 investor or trader visa. There are two types of E-2 visas. The one is a treaty trader visa and the other is an investment visa. This visa can be renewed indefinitely but does not lead to a green card, as long as the business that is set up in the United States continues to operate. The E-2 visa can be continually renewed. The E-2 visa is not available to all countries. It is only available to those that have a NAFTA agreement with the United States or some other reciprocal agreement. Common NAFTA member countries include EEU countries and countries like Pakistan and China. How do you apply for the E-2 visa? Well, as I said, there are two types. Let's first talk about the E-2 investor visa. This is where a national of one of the countries that has a reciprocal trade agreement with the United States invests a substantial amount of money into a business in the United States or starts a new business in the United States. The amount that must be invested really depends on what the type of business is. So, for example, if you were going to start a heavy manufacturing business that requires intense machinery, you would have to invest a couple of $100,000 in a business. If you are an IT consulting company, you may just need a fax machine and a laptop. And so the amount that you invest will not be as much as a heavy manufacturing intense business. But whatever the amount is, I like to have at least a $60,000 investment. There is no magic number, but I feel comfortable justifying to the USCIS, depending on the type of business, that a $60,000 investment could be considered substantial. The foreign national would also have to own at least 50% of the business located in the United States. And the investment must be enough not only to support the alien, but to provide a living for more than just the alien and his or her family. So you should have eventually some employees other than the alien. As I said again, there is no minimum amount that can be invested. You can obtain this visa pretty quickly. If you pay the additional premium processing fee of $1,225, you can get approval from the USCIS in as little as 2 weeks. There are two different procedures for applying for this E-2 investment visa, depending on where the alien is located. If the alien is in the United States, you would file the application with the USCIS with supporting documents, including business plans, proof that the money has already been invested. It is not sufficient to just have the money lying idle in a bank account. You would have information on what the business is, what the qualifications of the beneficiary are, and several other supporting documents, including incorporating a business in the United States. If the alien is located outside the United States, they would just apply directly at the U.S. consulate in their home country, and the consular officer will decide whether it's a legitimate E-2 investment visa. A slight variation from the E-2 investment visa is the E-2 treaty trader visa. Instead of investing a substantial amount in a U.S. business, the alien would do substantial trade between the United States and their country of citizenship. Otherwise, the requirements are exactly the same as the E-2 investor visa. This visa is called an E-2 treaty trader visa, and there would just have to be substantial trade between the countries. So, for example, an import-export business between the country of citizenship of the national and the United States. If you want more information on the E-2 visa, please feel free to call me.